That's the brand new Nikon Zf or ZF, however you want to call it, a retro style mirrorless camera with really up-to-date internal components like a really impressive image processor and image sensor. This video is about which memory card to choose for the Nikon Zf. The camera is equipped with two memory card slots, microSD and SD memory cards, so that's kind of rare. Stay tuned. You could find both memory card slots at the bottom, so you have to open up the battery compartment, and there's the SD card slot and microSD. The only questionable design choice is the positioning of the microSD card slot, because usually you have to take the battery out to have access to the microSD card slot, especially if you want to remove the microSD card. Otherwise it's a bit flimsy. But that's the only negative part. So in terms of speed, the decision is quite easy. Definitely use SD memory cards, not microSD memory cards. Why? The SD memory card slot is capable of using UHS-II memory cards, those cards with two contact doors on the back. The microSD card slot only supports UHS-I SD memory cards. Of course, you can use UHS-II memory cards, but the speed will be limited to UHS-I levels. So let me show it to you with the PNY X Pro Series V90 to be precise. One of the fastest memory cards you can get for the new Nikon camera. So we are shooting with uncompressed RAW images. The internal image buffer is capable of up to 42 images, and as you can hear, it takes quite a while with fast SD memory cards to fill up the image buffer. Now the image buffer is filled up, and yeah, the camera is limited to 200 images in a row, so I could nearly shoot the entire time. So it's a quite fast memory card controller, capable of up to 240 megabytes per second. So if you use a really fast SD memory card like the PNY, or for instance the Kingston Canvas React Plus, Sony G Series, Lexa 2000X, whatever, you know, the good stuff, it's nearly unlimited speed, and especially if you reduce the quality slightly to a bit compressed RAW images or HEIF JPEG images, so that's absolutely not a big deal. So kind of great. Let me deactivate the camera. SD card is out, battery is out, because as already mentioned, it's a bit easier to do. And now let me get a microSD memory card. Of course, it's not prepared. In this case, an Angelbird card. I hope you can see it. It is actually an UHS-II memory card, but as already mentioned, the microSD slot in the Nikon Zf is unfortunately not capable of using UHS-II memory cards, but it's a like best case scenario. So performing the same test again, and we are in the image buffer, but the image buffer will run out much faster. As you can hear now, we are out of the image buffer, the image buffer is filled up, and now we are limited to the speed of the microSD memory card. So you can hear roughly 2 images per second in RAW, to be said. So what is a good use case for the memory card or dual memory card controller in the Nikon Zf? I would recommend to use the SD card slot for everything that is critical in terms of speed. So let's say continuous shooting, RAW images, maybe really fast video modes, high quality video modes. That's the stuff I would save on the SD card. The microSD card could either be an extender, so if you're running out of space, save it on the microSD card instead of changing memory cards, or my actual recommendation, use it as a backup if you really need. So let's say you're doing wedding photography, why not grabbing a microSD memory card? It might be a good choice. If you're asking yourself which memory card to choose, either microSD or SD memory cards, check out all our test results in the link in the video description. It would be much more convenient to use the info cards. Unfortunately, we have to hit 1000 subscribers to activate those. So do yourself a favor for future videos and subscribe to the channel so we can use someday the info card. Anyway, check out the results, or if you want to have some real quick recommendation, as already mentioned, for real high speed, maybe the PNY card, the Kingston Canvas React Plus, I already showed you, Sony TUF G, Alexa 2000X V90 series, so that's quite okay. If you're more on the budget side, so let's say not doing continuous shooting too often, if at all, but you want to still have some real fast readout speed on your PC, Mac, whatever, have a look on the Nextorage V60 card. It's actually quite good price performance card, and in terms of performance, same test again. We are in the image buffer, and the image buffer is running lower and lower and lower, but as you can hear, it still takes some time, and even after the image buffer is filled up, it's about 4 or 5 images per second, so it's still quite a fast SD memory card. And in terms of pricing, half the price, maybe even less compared to the faster models I mentioned before. So as of today, as of shooting this video, this is my recommendation. For microSD memory cards, it's a bit tough. So if it's really only for backup reasons, currently, and I hope you can see it because it's so tiny, it's coming from Sabrent, the Rocket V, or maybe that's better. Yeah, from Sabrent, the Rocket V30, for 512 gigabytes. It's usually, not really much money. So it's not a fast memory card, but for a backup, it's absolutely fine, and maybe you can keep it in the camera for quite a long time. In terms of performance, so if you're looking for a real fast micro SD cards in terms of readout on your PC or Mac, the Angelbird card I showed you before or demonstrated before with V60 UHS-II. So you still have 250 megabytes per second, maybe a bit more readout speed on your PC. So if you want to save or back up the data, it's quite fast, but in camera, as already mentioned, there's no real speed advantage compared to the Sabrent card. So that's about it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done already, subscribe, and see you next time, next video. Bye bye.